Hi, Tokyo Tops. You can't do it.
I can't do it, okay. You guys know that we love Japan a lot. We confessed this idea that Japan, you should always come to Japan, like living in Japan, it's fun, it's very nice, it's a good place to live.
But at the end of the day, nowhere is perfect, and Japan is no exception. So today we just wanted to talk about some things we think you all at home should be aware of before you come to Japan as a gay foreigner. You can find many other videos that deal with the negative aspects of living in Japan all over YouTube. So we'll remove those already thoroughly discussed and focus more on niche LGBT related issues.
Let's get it started. Okay. I have a statement right here. Okay. So recently we received a comment from a person. He said that, I consider myself quite good looking, attractive person, but I don't understand why people don't reply me on the apps. You know, so I face the same problem. I believe that most Japanese people are not interested in dating foreigners. And also most of Japanese are Japanese exclusive.
Yeah.
I also see on the apps, they say Japanese only. Something, not even Asian only.
Yeah.
I think like maybe in the West there's like, white only, like black only. But like they lock it down, not even like Asian only, but they would be like Japanese only.
I see both. I see Japanese only, but I also see Asian only. And maybe you don't see the Asian only because you automatically are in. So you're like, cool, it doesn't register, but it registers in my mind when I see Asian only.
But it's interesting to see, they would say Japanese only.
It is interesting, yeah.
Right?
And they don't see any problem with that. Yeah, a lot of people don't, for whatever reason, contact me as much, want to hang out with me as much, want to fuck me as much. And that is a real thing.
Do you think it's Japanese supremacy that think they are better than other people? That's why they don't want date. Because they say Japanese only, it's not even a racial thing. I think I mentioned it in another video as well. So there are tons of like Japanese people message me on the apps. Once we have a couple, exchanges or conversations, and they will ask me, are you Japanese? And I say, no, I'm Chinese. And they just blocked or stopped talking to me. So that happens a lot. So I'm not sure if it's called racist, but like they think I'm lower than them.
Okay.
I'm not at their level because I'm Chinese.
I think that there's this idea that like only like a Japanese person would understand them as people, as a dating like maybe it's too much hassle to start dealing with cultural differences in a relationship, and maybe dealing with other people is mendokusai. They want someone who just knows and think about even things about coming out. Think about dating foreigners and we're like, you should come out or this and that. And they're like, fuck, like get off my fucking back. Like, let me be me. Having someone who's, born in the same country, raised in the same country as you, they're probably not gonna have, you should come out, you should do this, introduce me to your mom, this and that. They'll instantly understand each other. They'll instantly have that Japanese capability, Ishin Denshin, as we talked about in other videos, that you think doesn't exist, but I think it does. But there are gonna be negative. I'm not saying that there's not. There are gonna be ignorant things. There's a lot of people think that, foreigners are more dangerous for STIs. Incorrect, by the way.
Foreigners have higher chance to get corona.
And then we talked about that too, right? Yeah. It's a human psychology thing.
Yeah, that's true.
In a very scary gay world, it can make you feel safer to think like, corona, foreigners. STIs, foreigners. As long as I stay away from them, I feel safe. That'll create like a sense of sort of like anshin. I think another difficult thing, so you have Japanese people who are Japanese only, and they don't want to date foreigners. And then, of course, there are people here who like foreigners, and that's great. Yeah. And thank you. That's great. But I think there are times then that it goes the opposite way, though, where people who then like foreigners sometimes don't like Japan. They don't like their own country.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, I like Japan. I mean, this video is about things that obviously we don't like, but in general, I like Japan. And I have a bunch of friends like this who it's like anytime you want to celebrate Japan, they're like, ugh, Japan. And and all this stuff. So it's hard to find, I think it's hard to find someone who loves their country and also likes foreigners.
So I feel like the next one is very different dating culture here. Like people have different understanding of what dating is. For me, I have a very direct example. Like when I try to kiss my boyfriend on the street or try to hold their hands, they like, oh, don't touch me. Like, yeah, 1 meter away, something like that.
That's exactly why they're Japanese only. A Japanese person will understand not to do that.
No.
Right? But that's my point.
Even when there was nobody's looking, like there was nobody around them.
Same thing though. That's why dating foreigners is like mendokusai, because you push them into situations that they're not comfortable with, that, right?
Yeah.
So, but I agree with you. I mean, it's
a culture shock to me.
Yeah.
Because for me, like my understanding of dating is like when you guys are not doing anything, you should see each other, you should like go meet each other, spend time together. But Japanese people, I'm not saying everyone, so of course not everyone are the same, but many times they will be like, oh, なんか一人の時間が欲しいとか, like they will treat you as another event. So resting with you is not an option. For my experience, dating in Japan sometimes can be very stressful for me.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid of being told too omoi.
Really?
Yes, because every time if I say, oh, I want to see you again, I want to see you tomorrow, and they will be like a little bit turned off. They will be like, oh, ちょっと重い, ちょっと怖い. But I'm saying like, I'm not even saying being like too aggressive.
You're not even like, marry me.
Yeah, seriously, no. I was like, when we gonna meet next week? And they would be like, ちょっと重いから、なんか, I just don't understand why you have to meet your boyfriend like once a month or once in 2 weeks. That's weird to me because as a Chinese person, if you're not doing anything, I'm not doing anything, we're boyfriends, we should meet. There's no reason for us to not meet, you know?
Yeah. We've talked about this before. I think dating and marriage in Japan in general is different goals, different reasons to enter into this relationship, different from other countries. So I think that that's why we're also experiencing how like the internal working of such relationships are also different. I think people who are like, oh, I'm getting close to 30, I should get married. So they find a girlfriend. And are they wanting to date this girlfriend because they want to date this girl, because they love her, they think she's amazing, they want to... I would question it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say no.
I think lots of people... I
question it.
There is something called kongatsu. Whenever you do kongatsu, like you're already matching like those, you know, checklists.
Yeah.
Let's say that, right? So it's not gonna be 100% affection.
So that's my point.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna be like, oh, I wanna see this person next week. If I'm tired or whatever, we can just hang out, it'll be great. Because that's not the way that they're approaching the relationship from in the first place. So then take that and put that in a gay relationship where you can't get married, you can't really have kids, this and that. I think that it's super foreign idea to Japanese people, right? Yeah. So you're having these gay people coming in and being like, let's be in love and let's be married and this and that, to, you know, a country where they don't even really approach love in the same way and they don't even have the gay rights and all this stuff. It kind of doesn't surprise me that gay people here are like, and then the people who do believe that are the ones being like, yeah, we can't get this in Japan, so let's get out. Yeah. So it's this really difficult situation. You see what I mean?
They come in with the idea that one day we're gonna break up anyway, kind of like idea, right? Like,
well, and like what's the reality?
What's the end goal? There is no end goal for it.
It's harder to see an end goal, I think, in gay relationships here than in Western society that focuses on love being enough.
We also mentioned this in another video about finding friends. I think it's extremely difficult to break people's walls.
Yeah.
Come to Japan, just be prepared that you probably don't make any friends. Of course, like when I came to Japan, I think about making a lot of Japanese friends and immerse myself into the society. But look at me right now, like how many Japanese friends I have, to be honest. Like,
I do think part of it though, you have to think about your age group. Like, are you coming to Japan as a student? Are you coming to Japan as to work? I think if you're coming as a student, I think I had a lot more Japanese friends when I was a student here.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot, like life is a lot more free, happy-go-lucky, careless. We could go out all the time and have fun together. A lot of these Japanese friends I've lost touch with because of work and schedules and getting married and having kids. And those things have affected my ability to hang out with a lot of, Japanese people a lot.
But the thing is, in another country, you shouldn't be working that hard to make a friend. That's my point. Because in Japan, it's very one way. If I'm the one only trying to, hey, when you're gonna be free, let's hang out. Hey, like, I want to be invited sometimes. I want, when they think of something, they can invite me, not being so passive. I don't have to knock on their door.
Interesting.
Being like, let's hang out, let's be friends. If I'm the one person doing it, I'm exhausted, to be honest.
Yeah, I understand that.
I'm not bothered anymore to make Japanese friends. Do you have any heart-to-heart Japanese friend here?
I'd say probably, but I don't hang out with them that much. Yeah, we're friends.
Yeah.
We're friends, but I think I don't think of him as the typical Japanese guy.
But those people, yes, you can make friends with them, but like they give you an international vibe already.
Yeah.
But think about people who are very domestic, like it's extremely difficult in my opinion.
I've always felt that Japan, especially LGBT rights or understanding, it's like 10 to 20 years behind. I think they're following very similar paths as, you know, at least like North America did, where you're gonna find people now who are okay, you're gonna find people who are not. There are representations on media and like in the media, but you know, it's hit and miss. What I'm living in right now reminds me of what I was growing up in Canada in the 90s. With that in mind, I think it's gonna get better. I think we are gonna get to marriage and stuff like that, because I do feel, you know, we're in the 90s now. In 10 years, we're gonna be in the mid 2000s, and there you go. Well, you know, it'll work. The good thing about Japan is I don't think we're in danger.
There's no violence, right?
We have a lower, we have a lower understanding, but we're not gonna get big. You're not gonna get gay bashed. You're not gonna get, you know, stomped on in the street by a whole bunch of people. So like, yes, you might get weird looks, but that's about it. And if you think about it, that's kind of amazing. But I think, you know, you have to think about it still about what it's like working in a company as a gay person. We've done videos on it. I think it's okay. I don't think it's terrible. But obviously it's not gonna be as good as other countries. And probably the country that you're coming from probably has a better diversity sort of acceptance thing in your company. Sure, I could probably go out with certain people in my company and have drinks and talk about gay life or whatever, but in general, I wouldn't even just go there, just in case.
Yeah.
So I think that that's where we are. I think media is better, for sure. But I mean, we were talking about this the other day at the lesbian bar. It's still hard to see like lesbian representation on TV.
Yeah, I mean, compared to gay people.
Compared to gay people. And most of the time, still gay people, still kind of to be laughed at, or some sort of joke. So I'm glad that not everything's like that, and I'm glad it's still, we have some representation, but we're still not there where, you know, people are actually gay and not having it be a big thing.
Bars and services can reject you just because you're a foreigner. You can watch our bar video, right? Like why foreigners are rejected in Japanese bars. Of course, I did see lots of comments saying like, oh, I've lived in Japan for 25 years. Like I've never get rejected. But you never get rejected doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? And lots of people also say they got turned away when they're, you know, very obviously there are seats opening, but they're like, oh, sorry, we're too busy. We're fully booked, you know, they turn you away just because they don't want to serve for a foreigner. And also like hatemba, places like that, like bathhouse, it's very blunt statement. They say like Asian only, like Japanese only.
It's not even just nationality though, it's age. It's hair.
It's body weight.
Body weight. You could also be a Japanese person and blocked for a number of
body weight.
Body weight. But being a foreigner just adds more of these hurdles that you have to go, you know, jump over.
I mean, that's something I just think you should just get over with it. Like don't stop thinking to fight it. That's something you probably need to adapt.
Yes.
To accept it. It is how it is.
If you come to Japan knowing that these things are gonna happen, when they do happen, it's not going to be such a shock. It's not going to be such a, oh my God, it's going to be like, oh, okay, it happened.
This kind of place. Yeah, I feel like just lower your expectation. I know like lots of you guys gonna be like, but this is terrible, this is racism, but like, this is how it is. Like, you're not gonna win the system. Like, there's no suing them, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is just something, if you think about coming to Japan or live here, be prepared.
Yeah.
This is gonna happen, you know?
Yeah, and it's funny actually, because a lot of these things, when I do have chats with Japanese friends about this, most of the time they can see exactly where I'm coming from and agree with me. And they're like, yeah, this should change. And then I always turn to them and I say, please change it. Because like, we can't do that.
確かにね.
You know, we can't fix this from inside, especially when people tend to, anytime you bring that up to like authority or something in Japan, they'll usually respond and like try and shut it down by saying like, Nihon dakara. Right?
Yeah.
It's always that thing of you will never understand or this and that in this country, because at the end of the day, this is Japan and you come from a different country and we're different. So don't look at Japan with your foreigner eyes and your foreigner expectations. You know what I mean? So every time I get told that, I think, yeah, like if change is gonna happen, it has to happen from within, from Japanese people. And while we're waiting for Japanese people to realize some changes need to happen, we also have to take care of ourselves and be calm, you know, and like live our life here. So part of that is not fighting because we'd be fighting every day.
Every single battle.
Yeah.
I know the next one is a very meme one. That's like another thing because I love ketchup so much. So like McDonald's won't give you ketchup when you are ordering fries.
I don't think that that's true.
They don't give you ketchup.
I think I get it. I don't think I've ever been told that I can't get ketchup.
You can get ketchup, but if you don't ask for them, they won't give it to you.
Oh yeah, but that's just ask for it.
Okay, yes, but how about Uber Eats? You can't ask for them. I order Uber Eats for fries all the time.
So you're just being lazy. Why don't you go buy some ketchup to have in your fridge?
No, I mean like using a service. It's very weird that it's the only country I have been that you order a French fries, they don't give you ketchup.
I will agree with you that it's weird that they don't give you ketchup with it, but at the same time, ask for it. Like, but it comes back to picking our battles, because I remember, you know, not being able to get food, you know, changed.
Oh, you can't customize
your
burger.
It's really hard to customize your burger or your ramen or this and that.
Yes, it is very more flexible in the West.
So much more flexible.
Oh, I don't want avocado. I don't want, you know.
And I need soy milk instead of you know, this milk, and I need it at this temperature.
So I think it's a very different place that you have to be prepared that lots of things doesn't make sense to you.
This was one of my issues when I came to Japan, first of all, is that I wasn't actually even aware of my culture in a way. Everything that you think is normal probably is not normal. It's probably rooted in some sort of, you know, part of your culture. You come here with that expectation, I think you're gonna do a lot better, because kind of like with the bar, you're going into the bars expecting your service to be different from the way it is back home, as opposed to going and expecting that service should be the same everywhere because it's that way in your country. And the way that you have service as your country is the only way and the accepted way and the natural way. Coming with that expectation is surely, you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be upset and you're gonna be frustrated, you know?
So that's my list of you know, things you should be knowing coming to Japan. I know like it is an amazing country, you know, like we talk about in a lot of other videos. I don't even want to repeat it. And you can see we're having so much fun interacting with other people. So this is not a video of praising Japan, but you know, some of the difficulties that we face.
It's the fine print that is at the bottom of every our videos that you can read and learn, you know, the issues that we face.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? And if you're living in Japan, what are your difficulties, or what do you think are the cons of living here?
Let us know in the comments below, and we will see you again next week.
Thank you. Bye.